Its long, shallow roots suck up the water, which it stores by expanding its flexible pleats. In one rainfall, a saguaro can drink in 200 gallons of water, enough to see it through an entire year of drought. Drawn to these mighty cacti, Gila woodpeckers usually excavate a new nesting hole every year. Birds aren't the only animals sustained by the cacti. For a few weeks in summer, only at night, the saguaros bloom. Pollen and nectar attract long-nosed and long-tongued bats. The bats left Mexico just days ago to escape the heat of summer. They're heading north to the southern U.S. by way of the Sonoran Desert. Hovering on the night air with their 14-inch wingspan, the bats can smell these flowers when they bloom. Their arrival is good news for the saguaro, too. The gorging bats keep this desert garden pollinated. The desert is so big, for most of the year, it's impassable. But when the saguaros bloom, bats can refuel on the way. The Sonoran isn't the roughest desert North America has to offer. Death Valley. It's the lowest, hottest, driest piece of land on the continent. Yet, even this furnace is transformed by a little water. After a single shower, seeds that have lain dormant for 30 years or more burst into life. A bloom like this hasn't occurred for half a century, and it will vanish again within weeks. Across the globe in the Sahara, a sudden flush of vegetation is what one desert dweller is waiting for. No species on planet Earth responds so quickly to a desert in bloom. Desert locusts hatch from eggs buried in the sands and begin to feed. They quickly assemble into a huge, ravenous army. What lies ahead is part Old Testament, part science fiction. It's a plague straight out of the Bible, deadlier than any storm. Hungry locusts in the Sahara seem to come from nowhere and quickly merge into swarms. This devastating storm of insects can be 10 miles wide and take 3 full hours to pass. Female desert locusts are a bit larger than males, about the size of hummingbirds. Every day, an adult eats its entire body weight. A large swarm of 20 billion insects can devour 40,000 tons of food in a single day. The swarm rides the wind, the most efficient way of flying. Swarms have been known to cross from Africa to the Caribbean 33,000 miles in about 10 days. And the nightmare gets even worse. Swarms sometimes combine, forming gigantic plagues of up to 2,000 square miles. No shred of plant life survives their passing. This is one of planet Earth's most fearsome spectacles. And it won't last long. Once the food is gone, the roar of a billion wings will again give way to the desert wind. Other swarms, billions of creatures strong, can also form in the sea. And they're big enough to see from outer space. It happens across the globe when wind and sun combine to generate massive currents in the ocean. Along coastlines all over the world, currents circulate warm and cool water to create upwellings of nutrients from deep in the ocean. The nutrients produce rich blooms of phytoplankton, which feed many other creatures at the bottom of the marine food chain, like these gelatinous salps and krill. These tiny crustaceans have an incredible biomass of up to 500 million tons in the Antarctic alone, more than the combined weight of every human on the planet. They in turn feed the world's marine mammals and fish. And as Antarctica's sea ice recedes for summer, it attracts masses of creatures who feast on the largest ocean bounties in the world. Chin-strap penguins flood in by the thousands to set up their summer homes. They build their nests on these rocky ledges. As summer progresses, all that krill eating will stain the rocks pink. But a bounty of food always brings competition, and the ocean's giants swoop in for the feast. Humpback whales have swum up to 3,000 miles from their tropical wintering grounds to reach the Antarctic, where a feast awaits them. To get the most out of every mouthful, they've devised an ingenious hunting method. It's one of the rare times these solitary whales band together. Diving into the thick of the krill, teams of whales spiral around each other in a synchronized attack. They vocalize signals and blast air from their blowholes to form a net of bubbles. As the net draws inward, it concentrates the shoal of krill for easy pickings.